Hey, amazing one. Welcome to Heal with the Healing Artist Show. Surprise, I am early today and I'm actually outside enjoying this beautiful weather. So, you may hear some noise, and it's because I am outside. Around this time, people are doing a lot of different types of work. They're working on homes, they're cutting the grass, enjoying the weather. So, I thought I'd just change up the scenery just a little bit. And I also thought I'd just drop in a little early today. So, welcome again to Heal with the Healing Artist Show. And today we are talking about years of heartaches and headaches that taught me that I am only successful as the company I keep. Yes, that is so true. I am only as successful as the company that I keep. So, last episode, we talked about tailgaters as someone who could potentially be sitting at your table of life. And today, I'm going to share with you another person that could be sitting at your table of life that you may want to identify and evaluate how you interact with them moving forward. Now, you may wonder, why does this matter? It matters a lot. um, it really does determine how successful you are by the people you are surrounded by, right? If you're surrounded by successful people, it's going to rub off on you and you're going to be more likely successful as well too, right? If you're surrounded by people who are negative, even if you try your best not to be negative, it's going to rub off eventually and it's going to change your mindset and how you view yourself, you view your world, and you also view your special gifts. So I'm on here today to talk about the second type of person who could be potentially sitting at your table of life. But before I get started, I would love for you to just really think about who is sitting at your table of life right now. Okay? And do you have people around you who are supporting your dreams? Do you have people around you who are supporting your dreams? That is one of the most important things to really think about and really identify if you do or not. If you're really trying to be serious about being successful with your gifts. So, in our last episode, we talked about the table of life and what the table of life means, and we also had a little bit of fun and identified different types of table of lives, right? So, let's go back through those again. They were kind of fun to just really think about what our table of life looks like. So, the first one is the potluck. Okay, now the potluck is a really interesting table when you think about it, because a potluck is where everyone is welcome to bring something to the table. Okay? So when you have a potluck, everyone comes to the event with something in hand, right? Most likely a lovely dish, most likely their favorite dish that they like to make. But in this instance of your table of life, you could have people coming to your table bringing their own personal baggage, right? And instead of them feeding you, you are feeding them. You are supporting them with whatever it is that they're concerned about. Or if you have a potluck table, you can have people in your life who are bringing their own 2 cents. And they're sharing how they feel you should live your life and how you should use your creative gifts. So I identified in our last episode that was my table. I had a potluck table. As a creative, I am always open to meeting new people, and of course, it's never a judgment zone over here. So I just allowed anyone to sit at my table of life. And I had to learn that everyone can't sit at my table of life. Everyone does not deserve a seat at my table. And so I realized I needed to make my table a little bit more exclusive, right? I needed to make it more exclusive. I needed to make my table of life look like this. And I actually was at the beach last weekend, which was fabulous. I loved it. The sun, it was beautiful. It was warm. We had the ocean. I had some coconut shrimp and a pina colada, of course, virgin pina colada. But it was delicious, okay? And so your table, you want to think about it being more exclusive, right? Where it's invitation only. Everyone doesn't have an opportunity to sit at your table. You have to invite them to come to your table, right? So this is more an exclusive table of life. Now the next one is the one that is beautiful, right? So the beautiful table of life, it's really pretty. It's visually set up, very nice. You have all the beautiful tableware. You have the glasses. You have the centerpieces. It's so pretty, right? But when people are sitting at this table of life, the conversations could be artificial. Maybe they're or superficial. Maybe they're not real. Maybe the interactions are not real. And so the person who is sitting at this table of life may not feel like they absolutely have the support system that they need, right? And that they're just entertaining people. You know, it's a beautiful table. It looks nice, right? People like nice things. So these are three different types of lives. We have the potluck, we have the exclusive, and then we also have the beautiful one, right? That one's nice. So today I want to talk about another type of person who could be potentially sitting at your table of life. And I really want you to think about who's sitting at your table of life. And one person who could potentially be sitting at your table of life right now is a tourist. A tourist. Now, when you think about tourists, tourists are individuals who enjoy sightseeing. They view the scenery, they take in all the details of the environment, and they appreciate the beauty of it all. So these individuals, they are keen observers, and some people may describe them as people watchers. I'll say I'm a people watcher too. Right? I love to observe different people and how they interact within the environment. I don't know. I guess that's the artistic part in me. So as tourists, they love to observe nature. They love to go sightseeing, and they like to take in all of the environment, the beauty of it all, right? But let me paint a picture for you and share with you what a tourist may look like in your life or in your business. Okay? So let me paint a picture for you. And from a standpoint of a tourist is a person who secretly watches everything you do personally and professionally. Okay? This person is just touring your life. Okay? And most likely, these people are connected to you on your social media platforms. Right? These are individuals that you'll see on your social media platforms. They may like or they may not like any of your posts or your pictures on your timeline, but they're definitely the first people to check for updates on your page, okay? Now, you may be familiar with this type of person. If you're familiar and this sounds familiar to you and you feel you have a couple of tourists in your life, drop into the comment, yes, I got some tourists. Okay? Drop that in the comments. All right? Now, these are people who just really like to just observe, see what you're doing, and basically, you're like a movie to them. They recline back in their chair, they're popping their popcorn in their mouths with bated breath, waiting for you to fumble. And underneath a sly smile, their intentions are never good for you, right? These are tourists. These are people who really don't have anything to add to your life. They're just observing, they're watching, they're waiting to see what you're going to do next and what's happening in your life, but they have no real contribution. Most of the time, they're giving you that stink eye when they're looking at your post on social media. They're looking at like, who does she think she is, right? Or what makes him think he could do that? Okay, so these are tourists in your life, and these are people that you really don't want on your platform. So you really want to think about who's on your platform just observing, just to be observing. And deep down inside, you know they're giving you that stink eye. And that's not cute. You don't want people reflecting negativity onto whatever it is that you're posting, right? The people that are on your platforms, you want people who celebrate you just as much as you celebrate them, right? You want positivity around you at all times, and you have the power to do that. Now, I had some things happen yesterday that kind of took me off course and put me in a serious blurry moment. All right. And it came out of nowhere. And blurry moments always happen when you least expect it. Okay. Blurry moments is that Monet painting when we're too close to our situation that we haven't really stepped back to really see the full picture of it all. And so that's what was happening to me yesterday. And I had to make a phone call to someone very dear to me and see if they could help me figure out what was going on because I knew I was too close to the Monet painting. I already knew it, right? So you want to think about those things. You want to make sure you're keeping the positivity in your life because when you don't have people in your life who are positive and you have mostly negative people, they're going to throw you off track. And yesterday, I got thrown off track from a blurry moment, right? And I was in line. I was doing my thing, and then something happened that threw me off track, which then threw everything else that I had aligned and scheduled to do off track as well too, right? So that's why it's important to make sure you surround yourself by positive people, right? People who support you, people who want to see you succeed, not people who want to see you fail, right? And who are popping their popcorn waiting for you to fall, right? You don't want that. So, this is what I want you to remember. Remember this that you may never be good enough for some people, but you will always be the best for those who value you. Amazing one, you will always be the best for those who value you, those who get you, those who understand that, you know what, they're on a mission. They're on a mission to do something greater than themselves. Those are the people that you want at your table of life. Those who support you and believe in your dream, right? And they're there to help you stay on track. Those who are there to distract you, to make you second guess yourself, to question if you're on the right track or not, or even to just throw you off track. Those are people you want to really reconsider having at your table of life. And I will say it's not easy. Making decisions to change up your vibe and how you interact with people that you know aren't for you, it's not always easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest things to do, and it takes a lot of courage to do. But it is necessary if you are serious about living life on your terms. And sometimes it's about taking just one small step, and that's it. So I'm doing this because I really want to empower you and to remind you of how gifted and how special you are and how much you have to offer this world. And sometimes we get so mixed up in life and what's going on around us that we forget the core of who we are and we forget what our purpose is in life, right? So I just want to come on here once a week and help you recalibrate, right? That's all it is. Just recalibrate, refocus those blurry moments. So here is my life hack for you that I would love for you to do for this week, right? This week, what I would like for you to do is to check your social media platforms, okay? Check your social media platforms. You can do the same thing like we did last week, and we can, get out our cell phone. We're going to do our inventory, and we're going to check our platforms to identify the tourists in our lives. When you start setting those boundaries and you really start identifying who is for you and who is not for you, you'll find that life is going to happen a lot easier for you, right? And it's not going to be by coincidence either. It's going to happen for you and it's going to flow better. Like I always say, go with the flow. And you always know that you're in the right direction or that you're going in the right direction in life when things are just flowing and happening for you, right? When you find yourself struggling or you're trying to make things happen, that means maybe you're not really aligned with your mission and your purpose. So get out your cell phone, check your social media platforms, think about those that you are following or those who are following you or those who are your friends but really aren't your friends, right? Um, I've had to do that. Honestly, I've had to reconsider who was on my social media platforms. Because again, I only want positivity. I don't want anyone looking at my stuff hating. That's not good. We don't need that. We already got so much stuff going on in this world. We don't need to bring it to ourselves, right? I don't think we do. So really consider that. Now, the other thing that I would really like to support you on is the My Canva workshop. I would love for you to really consider attending the My Canva workshop. And the reason why, because you're really going to learn more about how to make a design pop. So if you're a person who does a lot of different social media graphics, posters, flyers, you're offering different types of events, and you want to make sure that your information pops and gets people's attention so that they stop their scroll on a social media platform, then you need to get into the My Canva workshop. It's happening really soon. Make sure you go to thefeatherstouch.com/my Canva and register today. All right? So amazing one. It's always a pleasure, and it was kind of fun surprising you today in the middle of the day outside on this beautiful day. So I had a lot of fun. I hope that the information I shared with you was something that you could take away. Feel free to drop into the comments if this resonates with you. If you feel that, yes, you know what, I do have some tourists in my life. And I may have to re-identify who these people are and really consider how I interact with them moving forward, right? Because again, we only want positive people in our space. And it's not being selfish when you're doing what's best for you, all right? So amazing one. Until I see you again, continue to create, connect, and inspire others. And I'll see you in our next episode. We're going to talk about one more person. You're going to like this person. Okay? We're going to talk about one more person that you should have at your table of life if you don't already have them there. Okay? So until I see you again, continue to create, connect, and inspire others. And I'll see you in the next episode. Mwah. Bye, amazing one.